All right, so it looks like I'm live now. So I was making some observations online on X and came across a few things. A few things hit me all at once yesterday. A couple articles and then a couple phone calls. So it just kind of all of them tied together, ironically. So the first one we'll start with is ABC team in Illinois, Cook County. They're saying homeowners panicking as they won't be able to afford to stay in their homes. Cook County property tax hikes, 650% assessment increases. So there's a couple examples they're showing. They're going from 7,000 a year to 16,000 per year in property tax. Another one went from like 10,000 to 18,000 a year in property taxes. They're trying to figure out why the assessments were way off. They're arguing that the assessment's off. So we'll see where that one goes. But I'm not in Illinois. But the point is property tax has a big impact on home ownership, right? It's part of what's one of your biggest expenses. I mean, insurance is starting to creep up there as we're all having insurance problems, but property taxes are constant. So then the other article that I came across was districts across Minnesota, school districts across Minnesota face major budget shortfalls. So that one came from Alpha News, and so I'll kind of skim through this real quick. But one district, St. Paul Public Schools, is facing $107 million shortfall this fiscal year, 2025. Minneapolis Public Schools, $90 million hole as of early March. The deficit has reportedly grown to well over $100 million since the survey was conducted. Anoka Hennepin School District, state's largest, they're looking at a $24 million deficit. And then here's a quote from Anoka Hennepin Superintendent Corey McIntry. We have to consider all options, including using fund balance, administrative cuts, program cuts, and staff layoffs. So all these school districts are facing a shortfall. And then they're blaming, and I believe they're correct here, they're blaming widespread shortfalls on a variety of factors, including historic inflation and staffing shortages. Absolutely. Everyone's feeling that. An end to pandemic era funding. Okay. There's no more free money. And new underfunded or unfunded mandates passed during the 2023 legislative session. Okay, I think that's where the big thing is. So enrollment declines also directly impact how much money districts receive from the state. Okay, so half the historic $2.2 billion in new funding passed by Democrats during the 2023 session was tied to 65 new mandates. So these new mandates are going on to the school districts, and that's why they're coming up with the shortfalls. Turns out, despite spending increases, $2 billion in new state aid doesn't go very far when it comes with a lot of strings. Katrin Wigfall, a policy fellow focused on education at the Center of American Experiment. These mandates include requiring schools to stock menstrual products in boys' bathrooms, provide free meals for all students, which could impact compensatory revenue, and allow seasonal hourly employees like bus drivers and cooks to participate in the unemployment insurance program. Not to mention the costs that will accompany all new ethnic studies requirements. Okay, so we passed all these mandates in 2023 and they're not funded. So we voted for stupid stuff and now we're going to have to pay for it. That's what it boils down to. All that stuff that was passed in 2023 is now going to come to a head on the school districts, and they're going to have to raise property taxes to cover the shortfall. That's what it's going to boil down to. So we vote for stupid things. So here's another post that tied into it, and it showed this said apparently out of California. In the 1990s, an A was 94% and above. Anything lower than 60% was a failing grade. So now today in California, an A is 84 to 100%, a B is 64 to 84%, a C is 44 to 64%, I suppose, Hall of Famer batting 500 there. A D is 24 to 44%. And then if you don't get over, half or a quarter of your answers right, or, 25%, it's 0 to 24% is an F. So Standards have fallen. So, our cost of schools have gone way up. And it's not the school's fault if we're passing stupid legislation like that, mandating all these stupid requirements. They should be just focused in on teaching, not having to deal with all this other legislative stuff that we push on them. So you can't blame the schools for it. We got to blame the voters for putting that stupid stuff onto the schools. Then the other thing that kind of tied this all in is I've got clients and friends that, called me up over the weekend and they were asking about retirement. And one of them's like, well, why are my taxes $8,000 a year? How can I afford that during retirement? She's looking at retiring soon, in the next 5 years. And I was thinking to myself, okay, I've driven by your house. You've got all these virtue signaling lawn signs out there, telling everyone you're a good person. And then you're looking at moving out of state now because you can't afford all these things that you voted for. So the hypocrisy is just astounding. We keep doing this to ourselves, and Minnesota is really bad at it. We got to quit voting for these free gifts and free stuff and trying to become this, virtue signaling that we're really good people when really it's hurting people. When you put this kind of tax burden on people, people have to move. They can't afford to stay where they want to stay. And it's not helping anybody out. So, and there's not a simple answer for it, because both parties are doing it. But somehow we all have to get together and just kind of hold the line on stupid spending. And I don't know how you do that. But we got to quit just taking the clickbait and the virtue signaling that if you vote a certain way, you're a good person. And, we just got to draw a hard line at where that money goes. We got a finite number of money without stealing it from people to pay for all this free stuff. So it's ironic, but it just seems to me that a lot of these people that are voting for this stuff are the ones moving out of state to avoid the high taxes. And it really breaks my heart because this was, we had a great state here. And it seems like it gets worse and worse every year. So that's my rant for today. I just thought it was funny that all that hit at once. And I suppose it's not funny, but it's out there, it's all around us. I don't know how to change it. Maybe you can't. Maybe we just got to hit rock bottom before we realize we have a problem. So that's all I got. That's my rant for today. So we'll sign off and talk to you later.